Hey, my wonderful sweet baby. So today we're going to be talking about 7 reasons why people don't like Nicki Minaj. Even though you guys are probably not going to listen to anything that I say and you guys are just going to go into full on defense mode, I do want to let you guys know that I am actually a fan of Nicki Minaj. But the gag is, I'm actually not, delusional. So, reason number one is that Nicki Minaj is actually doing a lot at her big age. What I mean by this is that Nicki Minaj does a lot of voices and all those things still at the age of 41. Like at some point, we do have to kind of amp it up a little bit and act a bit our age. And I just feel like when we see her do certain things, we look at her like, mm, Nikki, we could have went without that. Like in this video, she was talking about if she had a nose job or not, and she was talking as if she was 5 years old. And once again, this is coming from a woman that is 41 years old. So it is a little bit strange and a little bit awkward sometimes to see her behave these ways. And I'm all for, never really growing up, but I just feel like publicly, maybe you do want to act a little bit like you're 41. Number two is her alleged offender husband. So a lot of people actually don't like the fact that this is even her husband. To take it up a step notch, that's her baby daddy. I like to call him her baby mama, though. A lot of people are trying to figure out why she went down this route when she's Nicki Minaj. It's just when we look at Nicki, we see that she's that B word. So it's just kind of like, why would you get with that N word if you are that B word? And, he's very awkward and he just gives a very off vibe. And a lot of us are just still trying to figure out why she went for a person that is on the S offenders list, especially to have a baby by. Because all of the things that he was alleged to do, it is public knowledge that he has done it. Number three is just the fact that she doesn't give credit to where credit's due. A lot of us have seen the inspiration of Little Kim and, Nicki Minaj. And a lot of us that, have seen the glow ups of Nicki Minaj as well as, her and her development, we've seen a lot of references to Little Kim. I feel like Nicki did definitely give Kim her credit and her flowers, but I just feel like it's not granted enough. And the same thing goes for Nicki. Like, Nicki notices that a lot of girls are influenced by her and she wants her flowers, but she did the exact same thing to Kim. And now she is begging people to admit that she is their influence. Like, she literally calls everyone her sons and she wants her credit. And I feel like, well, what goes around comes around because you did the exact same thing to Little Kim. And I feel like because of these instances, this is actually one of the reasons why a lot of people don't F with Nicki. Because they F with Little Kim so much because, maybe they are one of those people that came up with Little Kim being that girl and Nicki not giving her her credit. So number four is just that Nicki's not a girl's girl. So I have a few of Nicki's sons slash ops on the page right now. But believe it or not, this isn't all of them. I just went and did a simple, Google search and said, who is Nicki Minaj's enemies? And this was a list of people that came out, and this was updated back in December 8th, 2023. Oddly enough, Nicki Minaj's birthday. And what's even crazier is the fact that this isn't all of the women. So I dug up some more photos, and this is what came up. And believe it or not, there is a man actually over here as well, Travis Scott. And I was just like, they're not digging deep enough for me. So I went even deeper to find some more of her ops. And the rabbit hole just continued to keep digging. I just felt like they weren't really digging deep enough. And I kept digging. And this is the one that I was honestly looking for. I was like, she's definitely had beef with Lotto. But the more that I kept thinking, the more that I kept thinking she had more people she did not like. And then that's what made me think of the instances with her and Drake. And it didn't stop there because I thought to myself, what about recently with Ice Spice? Then I just let the, AI do the talking. And believe it or not, she's even had instances where she wasn't cool with people like Kevin Federline, Farrah Abraham, and even government officials. And then I even thought to myself, like, that's crazy because Nicki also had issues with Stephen A. Smith. Which brings me to number 5 as to why people don't like Nicki is because she is kind of mean. Like, just recently, we did see that she had issues with her blood sister. So it's just like at some point, we have to hold her accountable to the fact that, not many people like her, and maybe it is an issue with her attitude. Because, having issues with people like Miley Cyrus doesn't really make sense. Like, Miley Cyrus and Nicki Minaj aren't even in the same genre of music. And not gonna lie, it really didn't make sense that she wasn't cool with Lotto either because her and Lotto were actually cool. Lotto gave Nicki Minaj so many props, and even recently, she even gave her more props and said, despite what was going on with her and Nicki Minaj, she still is her idol. And then she was even singing some of Nicki Minaj's old music as of recent, like as of like 2 to 3 days ago. And I get that that might actually be Nicki Minaj's real personality, but at some point, you've got to, be a little nicer because these are your peers. You work with these people. Number 6 is just that she's very boastful about her career. Like, it's 100% okay to hype yourself up, but I just feel like sometimes her hyping herself up is kind of also belittling what other people do in their careers. And, honestly, that's kind of mean. You're not the only female rapper. And I feel like when Cardi was coming up, she kind of made it hard for Cardi to really flourish because she was jealous of all the accolades that she had. And then she just kept thinking that, all these girls were trying to take her spot when in reality they were just trying to make room for themselves to, get out there and be who they are as well. Like, none of these girls in reality were even taking away from who she was. It's just they started to notice that, what was going on with Cardi was happening to them as well. Which is why she tried to befriend certain people to kind of, swivel her way in and kind of gain the fan bases of these other people. But I just kind of feel like, at a point in time, she really wasn't giving people the proper credit, letting them flourish and do their thing on their own. Just a lot of jealousy and animosity. And I feel like that's another reason why people really don't like her. And then, just to kind of add to that, it kind of seemed like sabotage in a way as well, which that was number 6 as why people don't really like Nicki. The last one for number 7 is just going to be the fact that she doesn't control her fans. Her fans are a different breed. Some of the things that her fans have done, and, it's alleged information, but just some of the things that her fans have done, it makes you wonder to yourself at what point is she going to step up and say, hey, you don't have to do that. She's honestly and truthfully moving like she's her fans' mother and she's demanding them to do certain things. And it's like the fans are so sadistic to the point where they're not even, recognizing that their behavior is kind of scary. And it's almost like she sicks them on people as if, those are her goons. And that's also kind of scary because why are these people listening to her and doing everything that she tells them to do? That's weird. So here's my thoughts. Overall, I am a fan of Nicki. I don't really like her husband. I do think it's insane with the amount of people that she's not cool with because I feel like honestly, if Nicki would not burn bridges with these people and if she had great relationships with these people, she would have so many great bangers that's out right now. Like, I would love for her and Little Kim to have a song together. I would love for her and Cardi to actually have a song together that's not, with them being with other people on the track. I would love for it just to be them two. And I know for the most part she's rekindled a lot of relationships with some of these people, but it's just the simple fact that, I really think that she should just try to change, the way that she is, like the aggression of how she is. Because, like, trust me, we know that she's the best and she knows that she's the best, but you don't have to walk around acting like that 24/7. But that's my opinion. What's yours?